Hi and welcome to the Homeopathy Health Show. I'm Atiq Ahmad Bhatti, a fourth generation homeopath with over 25 years of professional experience and practice in this field of healing. The Homeopathy Health Show is the online voice of homeopathy around the world, promoting and raising awareness of this truly unique system of healing, which is suitable for all ages, young and old. Every week I invite guests from the world of homeopathy to come and share their experiences, their work, offer insights, and essentially talk all things homeopathy. Why not visit www.liketreatslike.co.uk and click on the radio and podcast button to listen to the latest episodes. So let's begin today's show here on UK Health Radio, the world's #1 talk health radio. Hi and welcome to another episode of the Homeopathy Health Show here on the UK Health Radio Network. And of course, I am your host, the one and the only Atiq Ahmad Bhatti. I don't even know why I said that, but hey, it's wonderful to talk to you again and to share something very incredible with you. This is part one of a 3-part special with the homeopathic detox therapy maestro himself, Ton Jansen, and my very dear friend and, of course, a very, I could say, advocate or ambassador, actually, of homeopathic detox therapy, my friend Roger Savage. So, gentlemen, Ton Jansen and Roger Savage, welcome to part one of this 3-part special. It's a great honor to have you on the show.
And it's our pleasure to be here.
It's our pleasure to be there, and also an honor to be there.
It's so wonderful, and I have to say right at the start, and I know we were talking about this just before I pressed record as such, but the results that I've seen by using the homeopathic detox therapy method and by the protocols which are set up in your books, Ton, are absolutely incredible, and the results are really, it's almost like that wow moment, and it happens every time. And it's so useful, and I found it so useful to integrate that, when a patient comes, and to be able to identify who needs detox. And to be honest, you could argue nearly everybody does, because of the environment and the chemicals and the pesticides and the glyphosates and so much else is going on, and the radiation. But that leads me to ask you, certainly for this episode, along the themes of when and how, what made you come into thinking this way? Or was this always something in the back of your mind, this brainchild of, I need to come up with something that will help people to be able to detox their body so that they can then continue that journey of health and well-being?
I was, in 1993, on a moment, a little bit in a kind of depression, because I saw the people who come into my practice. I had a very busy practice, and people were amazed about the results, but they come back after 1 year or 2 years or 3 years after treatment with the same or even worse complaints. And I thought, this is not what I want. What is the missing link? And then I started to read the organon. I read it 3 times, and then on one moment I found you can cure someone when you solve the obstacles to cure. So, and the obstacles are toxins, medication, vaccines, pollution, everything. And some people have more of one or of the other. And so it's for everyone special. You need to see if you find symptoms from the most important detox they need. Because a lot of homeopaths thinks that you need to detox from the point of now to the back, but it is not necessary. Mostly, if we found the causa of the causa of the causa, because there are more ways to go. First, we thought always that we are like an onion. Every time you need to take a shell off, and then you are closer to the real remedy. But you can, if you know the most effective damager of the human who is sitting in front of you, then you can give this detox with the helping the organs and the system with other remedies. That's in the book 1 and 2 with the key to cure. You have seen it, I think.
Yes.
And that I have it on my table always directly that I can see what is necessary here. And sometimes we use them all. So they get more remedies. I say sometimes, but more frequently, I prescribe more remedies at once with beautiful results. So, and I was learned on school with only one dose and wait. And also with LM potencies. And then we use them sometimes 3 remedies, and we sniff them, and they say it gives less aggravation, but I have seen mostly more aggravations with LM potencies. But so I'm only focused on
centesimal.
What you say?
Centesimal potencies.
Yes.
Or K potencies.
K potencies, yes.
Yes, I've seen that. That the protocol is 30C in majority of cases. It's it's almost a symphony when we're looking. And ladies and gentlemen, for those listening, of course, Ton has 3 books out. The latest one is actually Fighting Fire with Fire Volume 3. And the first volume and the second volume, of course, have been out for some time. They're also called Fighting Fire with Fire. And it's wonderful how you have incorporated the remedies themselves, the combination of nosodes and sarcodes and whatnot with detox therapy, but also in there you do prescribe miasmatic remedies and you also prescribe single dose remedies. It's almost like a symphony, taking the patient along in a journey. So when you look at those charts and the information you put in the books and you look back, you step back and you look at it, it really does flow, and it flows incredibly well.
Yeah. So if we see in book 3, when we open it, we see the vitamins, then you see the symphony of food and healthy lifestyle. Only
Wonderful.
in 1 page. It makes it very clear and useful to understand how the vitamins, minerals work together. So, and what is the important thing of healthy food? Because it is not only homeopathy. That's also what Hahnemann says. It goes also about the environment, about the food, about weather conditions. Everything is important.
And that actually, I mean, to use that word, it is so important, isn't it? It's not just homeopathy. You can't I mean, this is just a really crude example perhaps, but you can't be overdosing on sugar every day and then expect homeopathy to come in and fix your problems, because it doesn't work that way. There is an effort by the patient themselves, and this is lifestyle. Maybe sometimes it's to do with the place that they're living at or near. It all plays a part, doesn't it? And also this stressful life, Ton. It's so stressful, isn't it? Everything is rushed and panicked, and it just has to be done. It has to be done immediately. And I always think now, there's no emergency. Just be calm and do what you can.
And what is what is happening when you are in stress? Everything is too much. Your neurons makes a big amount of histamine. And it is so harmful for your way of thinking, living, and enjoying life. It's not possible anymore because of all the histamine, and your brain is like, you can think, exploded. I see more and more clonowinum as a remedy because of the neurons who make so much histamine. And they get a feeling that the head is blowing out of the skull.
You'll enjoy this, Roger. You're going to enjoy this as well. Sometimes in the UK we get calls, and of course somebody needs help, but they're talking so fast. And I have to say, I said, look, I want to help you, but I can't help you if you tell me so much information within a minute. We need to slow down now, sit down, and let's have a conversation. You must be sitting. Because sometimes I've had calls where people are shopping, and I said, look, we can't have a conversation about your health when you're buying groceries. You need to be in a very tranquil state. Isn't it, Roger? It's quite interesting, isn't it?
Extraordinary what people suddenly feel the pressure to do. Yes. Yes.
As long as they're not piloting a plane, it's okay, right? That would be a bit worrying. But
nowadays, the pilots are also on the cell phone.
I know. And I think they need a lot of detox as well because they're surrounded, aren't they?
With radiation, yeah.
Oof. A lot of people, a lot of stewards and pilots have problems with cancer because of all the radiation, but also because of all the vaccines they get every 3 years. It's damaging them completely.
That quite an interesting point, and we are slightly going to go off on tangent, but it's just because you've mentioned this about cancer. What is the role of, although I know this answer, but it's for, of course, the listeners, what is the role of detox therapy as far as cancer is concerned, and that whole process of treatment, from the first stage, whatever stage it can be, stage 1, stage 2. Sadly, obviously, we have people that come with stage 3 and 4. And how does the detox therapy fit into that treatment protocol?
Look at the human stage from the patient. It doesn't go about the state of cancer. It goes about where the person who has this cancer, in which states this patient lives, and what he wants to change, and how he will look at the present the cancer one to bring this patient. So it is not only the homeopathic remedy, but we can help with beautiful remedies like GC-MAF, with enzymes, with bowel nosodes, with
polyimmunoglobulin,
polymosis, bone marrow, melanocytum. There are so much beautiful remedies, and if you know how to use them, you can heal the person, and then the cancer goes away. It's not the other way around.
You'll be delighted to know that, and I'm being careful with my words because it's a radio show, but recently somebody did come and they were very sick with cancer. But GC-MAF is so powerful. I mean, I used it and the results are, let's just say, that person is very happy.
Yeah.
That's how powerful I found it to be. I mean, I know you know this, I'm saying for the listeners, but it was incredible. I thought, wow, this is something else.
And if you use it together with colostrum, with minimum of 35% of immunoglobulin, then it activates the GC-MAF. The GC-MAF in the on the colostrum what you give. So the immunoglobulin works much stronger than without the homeopathic dose of GC-MAF. And GC-MAF activate dendritical cells. and that activate the production of T2 cells and alpha and beta cells. And then there is a possibility when the mindset is okay and the patient is healthy, that the cancer will leave the body.
You know, it's interesting, this is both to you and Roger, is the importance, and I know how much importance you have given to what I'm going to say, about the role of neurotransmitters, which actually goes to the role of us as practitioners of understanding that, the knowledge of disease and the knowledge and the role of the body and where all this fits in. It's so important, isn't it? Because even if it's not detox therapy, it helps you to understand what's happening in the body over and above the pathology. You know, there's, like you mentioned, causa causalis, you know, but it's so important to know these things, isn't it? What is the role of the neurotransmitters? What are they doing? What are these relays? What are the messages? Isn't it?
And that's what I explain in all my books. It makes it more easy. And within a few months, we have the repertorium of all the remedies.
Oh, really?
So another book.
Volume 4?
I think it will be volume 4 with also a few new remedies, but also a separate repertorium.
Well, that's breaking news, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes,
I'm so excited already.
Yes, we had a wonderful offer from one of our students who said, I want to create a repertory. I've already started. So we said, please continue.
Fantastic.
Amazing work.
That's the future. And that's just, that's the icing on the cake, you know. That's so nice to know. But it's hard work, isn't it?
Yes, it takes the half of my life.
But because of that, how many lives, Ton, have you changed? And you know, that actually takes me on to you, Roger, because you've been a practitioner for homeopathic detox therapy for quite a while now, isn't it?
Yes, 6-7 years.
Yeah.
No, Roger, more.
Is it? Maybe it's more.
Yeah, 12 years.
Maybe it's more.
Ooh.
Time races by.
Yeah.
Yes, but you haven't aged one day, my dear friend.
I have a little. But you see, it must be said that by the methods that Ton teaches, and he gave me a lot of help with this, I got through what would have been a very serious illness and came out in the state that you describe as not having aged a day. If that is true, it is thanks to really good treatment.
You were in a case you can say the doctor said we can't help you anymore.
Really?
Well,
and if you take, you can give some months more when you take the chemo, and what says
they
no
had some
way.
appalling ideas. And I said, look, give me 6 months to sort this. They said, we'll give you 8. And at the end of it, when the blood test came back normal, the GP said, what did you do? And I said, well, I sorted out the problems, which included radiation. Oh, but they didn't pursue it with interest. Just, oh, all right. But for us, it was a vindication of our work, you see, to get somebody back from the brink.
That's actually, I didn't know that. And I'm so glad that you're here, Ton and Roger. And thank you, Ton, for helping Roger, actually, on behalf of everybody, because Roger is a living legend, just like you are, Ton. And I know you don't like praise, so that's why I'm being careful. But Roger is a living legend, you know. And
but it was so nice. We were on stage in London.
Oh, we had such fun.
And we did a 2-man show about Roger's health and his disease. Because this disease want to bring him something, and he understand what it comes to bring him. So, and we start to work with each other from that moment.
That's right. And we listed the remedies on the board. And what it did was really help the audience to understand the way of working, because Ton could say, I've given this. I could say what the effect was. So they could really get to know the remedies. It was an unscripted, unrehearsed, unintended double act, but it worked beautifully.
And it was not easy for Roger because he's very stubborn.
Yeah.
Stubborn.
Yeah. On that time you were.
Oh, well.
Not anymore.
No.
See, Roger, see?
But we have a lot of joy with our seminars
Yeah.
because joy is make it more easy to absorb all the information.
You know, the work that you've done, honestly, I mean, just me as a homeopath as well, it just makes things very, it just gives you that extra oomph when you're treating patients, because sometimes we're overburdened with knowledge, and how many remedies can you, honestly, truly speaking, can you really remember, and how many of these protocols can you remember? But HTTs, even though it's so profoundly deep, especially with the results and what it can do, but it's not technically impossible to understand and recognize and learn it. It's pretty straightforward, and you've made sure of that in your books. The way that you've laid them out, anybody can pick them up and say, oh, this is interesting. And actually, bravo to you and thank you, because you've put real life examples in there, and that makes an absolute world of difference, you know? Because it's not just theory, it's here it is in practice.
Yes, and when I invite patients who are okay now, because we're not allowed to say cured, they want to tell it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So every patient who is healed themselves, we help them to heal. That's what a healer needs to do, help others to heal themselves. And that's what homeopathy is doing.
It's strange, isn't it? Because we were just talking about different people's opinions, weren't we, Roger? And some people get it, some people don't get it. But it's not rocket science. It's strange why sometimes when something is not simple, but straightforward, people reject it because they want a very technical answer and they need the best diagnostics. And you think, but all you have to do is talk to me. A human nature, just talk, just share it, and we can do it, you know? It's interesting, isn't it? Two worlds.
Two completely different worlds. Science is mostly deadly for our health. And so homeopathy is more proved. You can see it. You see the results, and it goes about results. And we need to have symptoms to come with the patient to the result. And that's not in the other way of thinking. We don't fight to the disease. We help the patient to cure himself from this disease. German geneeskunde, health care, how you call this? From Hamer.
Healthcare system.
You know this Hamer?
Dr. Hamer.
Oh, yes, yeah, German New Medicine.
Yes.
German New Medicine, that's it.
Yeah.
That's the name.
It's not a system. It is not how you call this, a therapy, but it is an idea what is very useful to help you as a homeopath or a physiotherapist or a herbalist to help the patient to have something on the symptoms and what the symptoms want to say.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually your system fits into that way of thinking anyways, because you've got the initial conflict shock and then you've got the biological process. And what does that involve? It involves the two neurotransmitters, doesn't it? And which leads to pathology.
Yeah.
It's interesting. You know.
And nowadays we have food without trace elements, enough trace elements, no healthy vitamins, no energy. They are empty. The food is nothing. All how you say this, processed food.
Processed, yeah.
Processed food, junk food, fast food.
Or food what is stored for many years before we eat them. There is no photon energy anymore in these crops and grains and things. So it is heartbreaking.
Ton, I've seen some, and Roger, I've seen some videos which are legitimate, which have shown people painting apples and have shown rice being made of waste plastic. Because it's very difficult to, unless you cook it, right, with rice. It's just one of those things. It does look plasticky anyway, right? So if that's the state that we're in at the moment, that's not everyone. I'm just not generalizing it. I'm just saying some examples. God knows what else is going on, you know? No wonder we're sick all the time. Why are we, everybody's sick? You, me, who, everybody. There's always something going on, isn't it, in the background?
You know, they put on all the fruits now and all the things they store.
Appeal.
It's
That's
so
what you saw
dangerous.
being painted.
Which one was this?
Appeal, Apeel. That is what is painted on the fruit,
And
makes
it's a
it shiny.
chemical substance. And even now they put it on organic stuff to store it. And it doesn't rot. It doesn't live anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's just, you could say it's synthetic, right? Everything is just made. Yeah, which is actually quite worrying for the future.
You can store an apple with appeal for more than 2 years.
Wow.
And it's still the same.
And
never you can't find it on internet. What is it?
No. And so you see, Atiq, what we've come on to is the fact that in our way of helping people, what their life consists of and their nourishment consists of is a major part of the discussion. As you might say, you cannot heal by pills alone. It's part of a totality. So therefore, we welcome naturopaths and other practitioners who want to learn also how to use this method because they've had a training in other aspects of restoring or creating good health.
Allopathy has a beautiful thing for acute things like accidents, bone reparation, surgery. They can do amazing things. But the pharmacologic industry makes no healthy things. That's
what we're working
amazing. With. They make only new diseases.
It's like saying that there's so many scientific studies now on the need of having good cholesterol levels, you know, and having butter instead of margarine, and you know all these things that are going on, and the actual health benefits. And it's interesting where we're heading as a, you know, as human beings, you know, as population, where a large majority are now waking up that, look, I need to be a bit more self-sufficient, right? I need to understand my body and who I am, what makes me like I am. That's so important, and it's so refreshing to know that people can take responsibility of themselves. We're good at looking after others, excuse me, but when it comes to looking after ourselves, we just push it back, don't we? And just want a quick fix, get on with your day. You know, got a headache, pop a pill, off you go. But now people are realizing, slowly and surely, that we need to see what we're about, you know, and that in itself is an awakening.
What we do with homeopathy, bring the I am on the surface. Then we know what we come to do on the earth.
That's
And
very, very,
then
yeah.
health is finding place. It comes out of itself. You know what you need to eat. You know how that you need exercise. And you don't need to go to the gym. You can work in your garden, grow your own crops, do something for neighbors, uh, live together. That's what we're made for.
I love that about you because you're so real and it's so absolutely true. It's all about simplicity and keeping your head down, and doing the best that you can and extending that hand out to others. And I love that because that's very much, I'm not talking about myself, but very much the principles I value. There's no point looking up. Why don't you look down? You know, look at those people who don't have what you have and try to help them. And that's enough, isn't it, Ton? That's enough for life, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know? There's no point to, struggling for 50 years just so you can become ill and then retire and enjoy because you actually can't enjoy anything. It doesn't make
I
any
think we
sense.
are created to live in heaven and not in hell.
Yeah. There's a good little old poem in English. We spend our health in search of wealth. We skimp and scrape and save. Then spend our wealth in search of health, but only find a grave.
Oh, okay.
So that is the warning
That's deep.
against the fast life, the
Yeah.
driving for worldly goals, no matter what the cost. So what you were saying earlier, both of you, that we need to be able to slow down and reflect a bit. Like the poet said, what is this life if full of care we have no time to stand and stare? Your
Oh, that's
patient's trying
beautiful.
to call you from the, what do you call it, the till in the supermarket. The multitasking, that puts a lot of strain on the system.
And also what's interesting nowadays is that if I said 10 years back, let's say, that look, you need to go out and you need to hug a tree, or you need to take your socks off and you need to walk on the grass, people would laugh. But now people are not laughing. People are understanding that there's some sort of wisdom in that. It's not my wisdom, obviously. It's always been there. It's the laws of nature. Ground yourself. Be at one. Be calm. And honestly, stare and stop and stare. If I see the moon at night, and I've just parked up and I've come out of the car, I won't just come inside. I will make time rather to look at it because it's so beautiful at night and it illuminates things. And it's so, I don't know, it's heartwarming, isn't it? Just to see that and to see the stars and we can talk about those things, because people are realizing that life is not just about 50 years of work, and you've forgotten your family and you don't know, and life has passed by so quickly. You've had no time to have fun and enjoy and relax. And everybody gets time to ponder and reflect once they're 70 plus, let's say. What about the years before where you can actually appreciate it more because you understand the beauties and which then build you as a character?
But people think you can't speak with plants and trees and elements, but they are all elementary
They're all part of life.
uh, creatures.
Hmm.
That's what it means to have green fingers.
Yeah.
We have a rapport and understanding of these aspects of life.
People come in my living room, they say, how it is possible this plants like new, that they come directly from the greenery?
Hmm.
No, they are grow from a little plant to a huge plant.
Oh, you mean you grew them from seed?
No,
You
from
didn't buy them?
leaves or
Yeah, yes, you nurtured them. Well, that's what we're doing with our patients, isn't it?
yeah. And
It brings a new
also I do
perspective.
homeopathy with uh, plants and also with farmers and with cows, and also for the ground here on our property we have 6 acres of how you say it, apple trees, pears, plumes.
Wow.
We have all kind of crops, cabbage, carrot, name it, it grows. But before they start to grow well, I need to detox the agriculture poison like glyphosate.
Mm.
It doesn't grow well. And then I detox the ground with the homeopathic remedies with glyphosate and in a potency. And it goes very well. And also the farmers do it.
Mm.
And it also helps with the magnesium levels, because we know because of over farming, magnesium is it's a very low, isn't it, nowadays? And that's one of the other things where a lot of the people are so deficient in minerals, right? And actually that takes me on to, I know we're talking natural health, but it does take me on to detox therapy and people who are nutritionally deficient. Is there a way through detox therapy to help them?
Then I call it no detox therapy, but
Balance therapy.
Ah.
Then we give the initial mineral or vitamin in a course, and we supply it as orthomolecular substance, and then the body can bring the balance back to normal in 8 weeks or 16 weeks. Like I have children who have a level of vitamin D 3 from around 2 nanomoles a liter, and it needs to be 80 nanomoles. These children can't think properly. They are nervous, they are tired, they have a lot of complaints, diseases and things. And then we give vitamin D in a detox way, together with vitamin D as a supplement. And then in 16 weeks, we have a level of 60. If you do it only with vitamins, as a supply of vitamin D3, then it takes more than 2 years to get this level. So you make the body with the balance course able to absorb the vitamins out of the food and out of the sunlight. But these children eat the wrong fat or less fat, and you need to have cholesterol and sunlight to produce vitamin D3. Without a healthy cholesterol level, it needs to be above 3.5. It is a huge problem to have a healthy level of vitamin D.
I always use this with some patients that it's one thing eating healthy, but it's another thing being able to absorb the nutrients.
Yeah, that's it.
You
So
know?
we're saying that by taking the potency along with the material dose, that absorption is greatly aided.
But we need also to think on the enzymes. The most children and people don't chew enough. They eat fast food, and the name is already there, fast food. So they eat it, but they throw it in the throat and they swallow it. They doesn't chew properly. When I have a dinner, I eat an hour. And with lunch, more than a half hour. And I chew very well. And it gives me a great opportunity to be healthy.
It's so important, isn't it, though? That's so simple, and yet so many actually do that. We guzzle it down, don't we? We just no time to chew. 1 or 2 chews enough to be able to swallow it.
And I have seen several children who I give gastrozine as a course they start to chew. And the mother said, "Oh, it takes so long time when he finished his food."
Mm.
And I said, he do a great job to himself. That's good for his health.
So that means we can't even eat healthily because of outside influences.
Yes.
Hurry up and eat. Get it over with. It's funny, isn't it, Roger? Where we are, the state of affairs, eh? Hurry up, finish your dinner. We've got things to do.
And we're also working against this awful modern culture I've heard among office workers. Lunch is for wimps. So strong people at work don't need lunch, stay at the desk. We're advising the exact opposite with people. Get breaks in life, get movement. Now, Tom, the name of your practice in the Netherlands is Health Through Movement, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Without exercise, your organs, your muscles, you have a lack of glutamine, and that's for the mitochondria to the energy for the mitochondria. So the ATP will be very low. So we have for the last 2 years the beautiful results with ATP, with fatigue syndrome.
Hmm.
Beautiful remedy.
How does that work, Ton?
The when you give a patient ATP as a course together with coenzyme Q10 or PEA, maybe you have heard from it, is a strongly working coenzyme Q10.
Oh, PEA. Yes,
PEA.
phenylethylamine or something.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then and you have exercise. People start to do exercise because they feel that is better for them. Then you have in a few weeks healthy mitochondria again and energy enough.
So your sentence, Ton, is that ATP is an organic compound which is the carrier of chemical energy within all cells and between cells.
Yeah.
So, Atiq, we're boosting the circuitry of the body.
That's so wonderful and so needed, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which actually does take me on to your expertise in this area of, let's say, the homeopaths listening today, the students and the graduates and the well-known ones even. How, when using homeopathic detox therapy, how does one differentiate whether it's a very physical misassimilation of nutrients or absorption, lack of, it's to do with the environment? Are there any ways of approaching this, or when somebody would need detox therapy itself, tailored to that, or is it just purely based on the case and what you observe and what you feel?
It is a mix. I do also blood tests to see for minerals and vitamin D and things. For now, I have seen so many people that I expect that there is something wrong or miss or not on a good level. Now I can read the person who is in front of me. I don't need to have mostly no blood test anymore to see the lack of something. And of course, they tell about. I ask them. First, I start with the timeline, with everything, with also the traumas and things. We know everything then. Mostly the second consultation you get more.
Yeah.
So I do again the timeline, the second consultation, to get more information. And they tell about her lifestyle, about what the food they like, and the drink, the exercise, about the sadness, about the whole story you get. And there you can analyze what is necessary. And every remedy is in the book and is explained what is why and how and for what kind of problems you can use it.
It's very well explained. I think the detail you've gone into is brilliant. Anybody can start. It's so good.
And the team is very important. If you need to choose from 3 or 4 cases or remedies you find, then it is not a problem. If you know the picture from the patient, then it makes it very clear.
But I think, Atiq, we should emphasize that working with this method is not a matter of routinely using set protocols. The books describe examples, but what we emphasize every time is individualize. What is this person's story? What is their state? We don't just use a bolt-on automatic prescription, a bit like fast food, you know. This is not fast food homeopathy.
No,
It's
thank
still
you.
careful thought.
Thank you for clarifying that. Actually, that's a really important point.
Because I've heard people talk about, I used a protocol.
And that's also a reason I dislike to give patients what I give them. What is the treatment? That's because they want to copy it. And that's also the risk that I put in the book, how I treat this patient, that people are easily take this example on their patient. That's better that they don't do, that they find we tell why and how. And for every patient, it is different, the how and whys.
Which actually makes me commend you both, and especially yourself, Ton, because that's how homeopathy is, because we are artists, and that's the art element. It's individualized, it's personalized, it's tailored, it's bespoke. It's tailored to that patient, and it's lovely that you can actually do that with homeopathic detox therapy. I think it's just incredible.
I was in the Inca Indian in Indians in Ecuador, and with a shaman, and he asked, "Is it okay that you sleep on a stretcher next to me?" And the other morning he says, "You make worries about the world." And he said, "Don't do this. When the world is ready with mankind, it shakes 3 times and the problem is solved. And you have a very strong healer inside. And you need to spread the word without fear, because fear is the prison of life."
And that very eloquently takes us to the end of this episode. It's gone very, very quick indeed. But that's very beautifully said, and I think it's a perfect way to end this part 1 of this 3-part special with the respected Ton Jansen and the respected Roger Savage. So we will return for part 2, where we will talk about homeopathic detox therapy in practice and how it's applied, where it's applied, and then we'll have a really fun conversation. It's been absolutely delightful and a learning experience. And I would say to you, Ton, that story has actually quite touched me, which you just mentioned. So yes, let's spread the word, and I will do my utmost through what I have been gifted with, which is this show, to spread the word as well, and through social media, because that's what I know. And others, please do look into this. It really is. Trust me, I've used it myself, or should I say I use it myself, nearly every single day, several times, in fact, on patients. And the results really are profound. As long as you get the right causa causalis and you understand your patients, if you're homeopaths specifically I'm addressing, then you'll find this is a very valuable method to be able to help your patient on their journey to well-being. So with that, Ton Jansen, Roger Savage, delight, and I will see you in part 2.
Thank you very much, Atiq.
We see you gladly.
I do hope you've enjoyed this week's episode of the Homeopathy Health Show. Please do support the show by clicking follow on my socials. Remember, the more exposure the podcast receives, the better for homeopathy around the world. You can find me on Instagram by searching for @like_treatslike, and on both Facebook and TikTok by searching for @like_treatslike. So let's promote the voice of homeopathy on radio and podcast around the world together. Don't forget to visit me online at www.liketreatslike.co.uk and click on the radio and podcast tab. Here you'll be able to see all the guests that have joined me on the show so far, and of course you can stream on demand the latest episode to your mobile, tablet or PC. Until next time, stay safe and take care.